What's up guys, Stark here. In today's character spotlight we are taking a look at Giorgio, aka St. George. So his picture's on the screen right now for you guys to see. I really don't care for his artwork that much. It's definitely not the worst artwork I've seen, but it doesn't do a whole lot for me. It's pretty bland and pretty generic, but this character is definitely better than that. So don't let his artwork fool you. We're going to jump right in here to his stats. He is a Rider class, so he will be effective against casters and weak to assassins. And he is a 2-star as well, so he goes up to 65. And his stats at level 65 are 5,236 attack and 9,200 HP. So he's got some really high HP stats, some pretty low attack stats. You could actually grill his character out, and he's a tank if you max him out. He has over 15,000 HP, but his attack stats do not reach over 10,000. So yeah, it's really up to you if you want to grill him or not. Honestly, it's a tough decision, because if you grill him out, he's kind of a tank, but then he's harder to kill, and you kind of want him to die. I know that sounds a little weird, but you kind of do want him to die, because of his craft essence. We'll talk about it a little bit. But yeah, I guess it's up to you depending on what strategy you want to use and all that stuff. Anyway, let's move on to his skills here. So his first skill is called Guardian Knight A+, which will apply target focus for 3 turns and increase his own defense. So this is pretty cool. The 20% increase at level 1 for his defense, and then 40% at level 10. And then the target focus makes them, basically, I'm pretty sure it's like a taunt skill. So they'll be attacking him instead of other characters, which is always nice because he's a tank and he'll take the heat off other characters, maybe berserkers or things like that, to make it a little bit easier for you to actually have those characters survive longer. Plus, you want him to die, so that helps. His second skill is called Martyr Soul B+, which will increase his mental debuff resistance, and it will restore his HP. So it goes 750 HP at level 1, 2000 at level 10. So this is pretty cool. You know, it's a little weird because you do want him to die, so having him heal back is a little counterproductive, I guess. But you don't want him to die too soon. You want to save it for that right moment. So I guess this can kind of balance that out and make you, heal back up, survive a little bit longer if you get hit too hard with some of your earlier attacks or something like that. But it's not a bad skill, and if you're going the tank route, this is really nice as well because, it makes it harder for him to kill, which is what you want in a tank. And then his final skill is Battle Continuation A, which will apply Guts 1 time over the course of 5 turns. Now this is a little bit tricky because I haven't actually tested it out. So for all of you Japanese players out there, well, not Japanese players, but people who play the Japan version, when I talk about the craft essence, let me know if the craft essence stacks with the Guts. I guess I'll ask this question again when I get there, so just forget about what I just said right now. Moving on here to his passives. His first is Magic Resistance A, which increases debuff resistance by 20%, and his second is Riding B, which increases his quick card effectiveness by 8%. So moving on here to his Ascension Materials, he's going to need a pretty fair amount to max ascend his character, but pretty much that's only on the 3rd and 4th Ascensions, so you do need the feathers, some pages, and some horseshoes, along with the pieces and the monuments, of course. So I've said everything I need to say about these materials, so I really have run out of things. I've made like 45 of these videos, so I'm just gonna kind of glance over these things, show you guys what you need, and move on. So for his skill enhancement materials, you need some feathers, and you need some gears and horseshoes as well. I always skip the proof of the heroes because you get them for free for logging in, so I don't really even consider that worth mentioning. So yeah, we're gonna move on here to his craft essence, which is really what I want to talk about. And it's going to unlock the What Can Be Left Behind craft essence, and when equipped, it will, or I should say, when he's defeated in battle, it will grant all allies invincible to damage for 1 time, and decrease incoming damage by 1,000 for 3 turns. So this is pretty awesome, because, when he dies, he gets a little benefit, but I probably should have known this before I made the video, but I didn't really think about it until I read his skills and his craft essence, but I'm not 100% sure, but I want to know if using his craft essence stacks with his Guts. And what I mean by that is, if he dies, does his craft essence trigger? If Guts triggers, So if that's the case, then you can actually trigger this skill twice, or 3 times if you're having a multiple guts setup. I don't know how else you can do it, but yeah, that's basically my question. So yeah, for you guys who play the Japanese version, let me know. I'm curious. I'm very curious about this because it's already good, and if you can do it twice in the span of like 2 turns or 3 turns or whatever, that makes this so much better, because then you have basically 2 turns invincible. I guess he couldn't die in 2 turns. It would be 3 turns, because I assume it would work on himself. But yeah, I genuinely don't know. Either way, it's really good, but if you can use it twice, that would be that much better. So moving on here to his command cards and his Noble Phantasm, he does have 2 quick, 2 arts, and 1 buster. So primarily you want to use him in a quick team or an arts team. And his Noble Phantasm is arts as well, and it will inflict dragon trait to a single enemy for 3 turns, and then it will deal significant damage to a single enemy as well, and then on the overcharge it will greatly increase his own defense for 1 turn. This is a really interesting, very unique Noble Phantasm, which is kind of what I would love to see in all Noble Phantasms, but obviously that's not the case. So he does go from 20% at level 1 to 40% at level 5 for his defense increase, which is really nice because, like I said, he is a tank and all that stuff. But the most interesting part about this is that it inflicts dragon trait to a single enemy. So you could combo that with characters like Siegfried, who have skills that increase the damage against dragons, and you can have a nice little Dragon Slayer team where you can make them a dragon and then have Siegfried do extra damage to them, make it a lot easier to kill these enemies. And then if George does die, he'll get the bonus stats and all that fun stuff. So it's really nice, it's very unique, and I definitely like it. I just kinda wish that it was an AoE effect. The damage, fine if that's a single target skill, because, you know, if he one-shots the team, it's relatively pointless to have them become dragons. But that's also why I feel like his first skill should do the entire wave, because if your Noble Phantasm kills it, then it becoming a dragon is pointless. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Maybe in the future he'll get like an interlude quest or something to fix that. I don't know if it's actually a problem because, you know, he probably won't one-shot too many enemies. He doesn't do that much damage, but that's just what I would have liked to have seen. So yeah, for some of his craft essences you could use, obviously I recommend his own craft essence the most if you have it, but it's going to take a long time. It takes a long time to get to level 10 Bond. So you're going to need some substitutes. So Kaleidoscope is good, especially if you're going against like a team you want to use, like a dragon slaying team. So you want that Noble Phantasm up and ready to go so you can make your enemies dragons and then have Siegfried or whoever else jump in there and destroy them. And then you could also use the arts cards. So you could use Projection for the 15% increase or Formal Craft for the 25% increase. Do a little bit of extra damage while you're continuously using your Noble Phantasms and all that fun stuff. So yeah, those are the craft essences. I definitely recommend using this character in like your support setups. Not like for friends and things like that, but like on your back 3. Someone who's probably not going to get into the fight too often, but who's still going to gain Bond. So eventually, you know, even though you're not using him in the fights, you're still using him on your team, so you still get Bond for him. So you could still work towards that craft essence, because that craft essence is really good. Even if it doesn't stack, even if you get that just that one time, 1 turn of invincible. I guess technically it's 1 attack, but chances are the attacks are going to be spread out over your team anyway. And then you have the damage reduction. It's just a really nice craft essence, and you definitely want to get it as soon as possible. So just throw this guy on your team, even if you don't want to use him. Just, you know, you have 3 extra spots. Just use one of them for him. He's a 2-star character, so his cost isn't even that high. Shouldn't even notice him being on your team. So just do that. Work for his maximum craft essence. And once you get it, you know, you can throw him in your first slot. Even if he's not leveled up, you can just get him knocked out, get his effect to go off, and then you're good to go. So yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. I will show you his Noble Phantasm. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
これこそがアスカロンの真実。汝は竜、罪ありき。アスカロン